This is DC Channel Guns. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
What up? This is DC Channel Guns coming at you another gun video. Appreciate you watching, like, share, and subscribe. I want to appreciate all my subscribers. I want to appreciate y'all for coming to the video and commenting and stuff. I appreciate everything that you're doing. Now, first of all, I want to get this out of the way. I'm not a professional. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer. I'm none of that. I'm just an average citizen looking at all these gun laws, looking at the way that, gun owners are being treated in this country. And, just looking at all the infringement that's going on. I'm just the average citizen trying to protect, my Constitution, uphold the Second Amendment. That's all I'm doing. I'm looking at it through the lens of the average gun owner in this country. That's all I'm looking at. So, I'm trying to pretty much put these things in place, pretty much the basic way I know how and stuff like that. So just want to get that out of the way. Now, when it comes to your state, do your own research, look at your own laws and stuff like that. That's what I encourage everybody to do. I do myself the same way. So, I'm just putting this out to get the word out what's going on when it comes to the Second Amendment in this country. Because it seems like gun laws are pretty much falling off trees now. It's like leaves off a tree. It's falling everywhere. And it's just raining down on top of the gun owners in this country, making it more difficult to own a farm. I'm talking about your politicians are making it seems like an allergic reaction to be a gun owner in this country. They trying to make it worse than the coronavirus that's going on. I'm talking about it's more popular than that because a lot of your anti-gun politicians, they haven't even stopped for 1 second to acknowledge the virus that's going on in this country when it comes to coronavirus and stuff. They're still pushing full steam ahead when it comes to gun laws. So, we're talking about Washington State here. We're going to get into it. But, before we get into, what I want to say in Washington State, let's check out this bill here and let's go over this bill when it comes to magazine capacity. Now, we've been talking about when it comes to high capacity magazine in this country, a lot of states are pretty much putting it on the dock now, for as passing and stuff like that, because, your politicians know that these, limitation on magazines is not going to solve crime. They know that, they acknowledge that, but because they can go and infringe on your Second Amendment, that's what they're going to do anyway. That's the easiest and most profitable way to pretty much take away your gun rights. And they know that. So let's go on and talk about this bill here in Washington and everything. Let's go on, read it and review it.
Let's take a quick look at House Bill 2240 and Senate Bill 6077. Now, ban the manufacture, possession, sale, transfer, etc. of magazines that hold more than 15 to 10 rounds of ammunition, respectively. The limitations are strongly supported by the governor and the attorney general. These so-called high-capacity magazines are in fact standard equipment for commonly owned firearms that many Americans legally and effectively use for an entire range of legitimate purposes such as self-defense or competition. Those who own non-compliant magazines prior to the ban are allowed to possess them on their property in any other limited instance, such as licensed shooting range or while hunting. Restricted magazines have to be transported, unloaded, and locked separate from firearm and stored in a home lock, making them unavailable for self-defense. House Bill 2240 and has been pulled from the Rule Committee and now eligible to receive a floor vote at any time. So that's what we got going on with that. Let's get furthermore when it comes to Washington State and all these bills that they present.
So we read and reviewed the bill. You see what I'm talking about. You see the infringement and stuff that's going on. They're pretty much trying to make it so you can't defend yourself. The criminals are not going to obey none of the laws that they're presenting in Washington, stuff like that. I'm talking about, they're pretty much making see, when they're creating these laws, they go to the full extent. They try to go further and further than other states. Because if you look at all these states when it comes to the high capacity magazine bans and stuff like that, each state seems like they're trying to outdo each other. And they're encouraging other states to go even further when it comes to these bans. I'm talking about, they're trying to have, you're pretty much isolated. You're getting to the point where you just be isolated pretty much in your home. That's pretty much. I'm talking about by the time they increases all these zones and stuff and areas and then they want you to lock your stuff up, make sure it ain't accessible. They're putting you in danger. I'm talking about the criminals not locking their stuff up. They're not putting away and tucking away their high capacity magazines and stuff. I'm talking about this is where we at when it comes to this country. I'm talking about we just throwing out anything that sticks on the wall. That's what they're doing. So, we're going to get to another video. Now, they're acknowledging that none of the limitation when it comes to magazines is not going to work. They know it's not going to, stop crime, but they're going to do it anyway. You have people who have acknowledged that magazine bans do not work. Even limiting the rounds from, man, I'm talking about, what is there's no number, just politicians are setting numbers. You got some states 10, some states talking about 13, you got some states talking about 15. I'm talking about, come on. I'm talking about, but look, listen, I'm talking about, they know that the limitation on your magazine is not going to work, so they still propose them. So, check this clip out right here that I put together.
The initiative requiring the safe storage of weapons around children bill to limit gun magazines to 15 rounds. It's their top priority.
One of my speeches on the floor that this is about common sense gun legislation.
Common sense? I'm not sure.
Republican Senator Ron Mazzal says the state's focus should be on mental health.
The horse is out of the barn. We're still going to have issues no matter how much legislation we put in.
But if I can do anything to prevent this from happening to anyone else.
Carla Tolley knows the capacity bill would not have saved her grandson, but she thinks his story could prevent another tragedy.
So you seen it, and they acknowledge that they know that it's not going to stop crime. They know that. They know it's not going to reduce no gun violence and none of that stuff, but they're still putting them in place. And this is what I've been trying to get across. These are the things that I try to point out. They know that these laws are not gonna solve nothing. We have went over thousands and thousands of gun laws all over this country. You have a lot of social media channels covering this at all different angles, perspective. Everybody giving you their 360, degree view on it. I'm talking about, we have been flooded in this country with gun laws that we know is not gonna work, but they keep doing it anyway. And the main thing I want to get across, people, they're picking gun owners off one by one. They're not picking us off in groups. These traps are set for individual, because when I look at a lot of stuff that's going on in this country, each gun owner that is caught in one of these traps, guess what? Don't have the money, don't have, the accessibility to reach out, get help from people who can defend them and stuff like that. So they end up taking the fall, losing their gun rights. That's pretty much what's going on. And when it comes to your red flag laws and stuff, man, I got another video that y'all gonna have to check this out when I've been talking about these red flag laws, because nobody is talking about what I'm gonna talk about in this next video that I'm gonna be dropping and stuff like that. So subscribe, stay along with the ride and everything. So we're gonna move on with Washington State and talk about some more stuff that they're going on. We're gonna go through all the, man, Washington State has, I'm talking about, the gun laws in Washington State are multiplying. Like, they're having gun law babies. I'm talking about, this is ridiculous. I'm going to show you how many gun laws, and there are many more that have not covered that's in Washington State. They got all types of seizure bills, farm seizure. I'm talking about, man, but we're going to just go over a few of them. Just a few of them, but there's so many out there. So we're going to go on to this next clip and everything. So let's check I'm talking about, when it comes to Washington State, they got so many bills. I'm talking about, your politicians are creating these bills out of thin air. They is hard at work just creating gun laws in this country. Now, you got the House Bill 2240, which we talked about, ban the high capacity magazines and stuff like that. And, we went over that. Now, we're going to go down here to House Bill 2623. Now, let's look at that because it's very important. Now, House Bill 2623 prohibit any individual from possessing firearm if they're convicted of a misdemeanor crime. I'm talking about a misdemeanor now. We went past the felony, a misdemeanor crime, an unlawful aiming or discharging of a firearm. Now, the poorly conceived legislation even applies to air guns. Now, we talked about the air guns and stuff a while back. Slingshots, and has no exception for individual aiming or discharging a firearm for self-defense purpose in a location that will otherwise not be authorized. So if you're in a location that's not authorized, I guess, for a firearm or whatever the case may be, I'm talking about, these are these zones and stuff I've been telling y'all that they're putting together and everything. And, they're putting these zones in place to pretty much convict gun owners. These are the traps that I'm talking about. Some of you still not understanding. I keep talking about, I'm telling y'all about these traps. They're setting traps. Now, we got Senate Bill 5434. Now, this right here pretty much increase prohibited areas where law-abiding citizens cannot possess a firearm. I'm talking about, they're increasing areas, they're restricting areas and making it unsafe for citizens. They're putting citizens in danger. Now, this including CPL holders, carry for self-defense. I'm talking about if you got a concealed carry, this and that, they are setting zones so you can't carry. I'm talking about, see, this is what they're doing. Now, the bill extends to gun-free zones to public parks, libraries, and child care centers and stuff like that. So they just keep increasing boundaries. We talked about in Virginia with the ammunition-free zone. They just keep expanding and expanding and expanding. I'm talking about you have some places where you just gonna be able to have a farm in your house. You ain't gonna be able to hit the public streets or nothing. This is crazy. Now we're gonna go on to House Bill 2622. Now, this modified the existing firearm surrender provision, the individual subject to a court order. This bill compels respond to appear to provide proof and how to what we can extend that they comply with the surrender order. Now, this is serious encroachment on the rights against compelled self-incrimination in any criminal, civil, other than government proceeding failed to appear result in individual being contempt of court. Therefore, putting individuals in a no-win situation. So, if you are somebody that failure to appear to court, don't show up or whatever, you're pretty much in contempt of court, and you're in a no-win situation. So basically, this bill here will pretty much almost, is almost set up for you to fail. Pretty much, these are another traps that they set, and you got to think about stuff like this. Now we're going to Bill 2305. Now, it imposed a mandatory firearm provision and responding of adult protective order. Now, this which removes someone's Second Amendment rights for up to 5 years, require no criminal conviction or even charge, due process, limit, restriction, constitutional right, only serious conviction and injunction to provide procedural protection of an accused. Now, this is what we've been talking about when it comes to, these red flag laws and stuff like that. Now, right here, you see what they just said. Now, this is one of the orders where that will remove your Second Amendment rights for 5 years with no criminal conviction. I'm talking about, or even charges. I'm talking about no charges or even charges. See what I'm saying? Either way, they're going to remove your Second Amendment for 5 years, people. And it's not really 5 years. They're just saying that pretty much forever. Your Second Amendment rights is gone. This is the stuff that I've been talking about. These people are pretty much just going way above the law. They're just setting stuff in here. They just want to take away your rights. That's what this bill right here is. So we can just take them away. Even if you won't charge or nothing, we're just going to take it away for 5 years. 5 years is a long time for someone who has not had committed anything, has done nothing wrong, but you're going to take it away for 5 years. So this is what I'm talking about. This is the stuff that's going on. Now we're going to go down to another bill that I'm talking about. They got so many bills. House Bill 2467. Now, what this bill will pretty much do, right here, we're going to read a little bit. Now, Washington State Patrol to create a centralized state system for all firearm transfer or live firearm dealer to submit information electronic to receive feedback instantaneously. This bill was introduced by a bipartisan group of legislators who have recognized the background check system. Now, Washington imposed excessive delay on gun owners. Background checks for handgun transfer done in a timely manner. Now, this right here is something that a lot of people have been talking about. It's been happening all across the country. What they're doing is they pretty much want to start some type of farm registry. That's all this is pretty much is. They want a registry where, they can register all your farms and stuff. And they're pretty much backlogging and slowing the system down. They're just creating a system to make the process longer for you getting your background check to get your farm. That's pretty much all this is doing and stuff like that. Now, if you're a concealed holder or something, a CPL holder, you will be able to avoid, all this stuff that they're doing, as far as the NICS check and stuff like that. Now, but like I said before, also up here, they're charging, they want an additional $18 fee and stuff for, semi-automatic rifle transfers and all that. So, they're just trying to make money on top of everything else that they're doing or whatever. And, there's so much. Now that's so much to read, man. I'm still processing this stuff. I haven't been checking it out long and stuff to actually thoroughly go through and research and do. But you can do some research and look at all this stuff. But man, it's just so much. I just want to kind of show you that and everything, just to show you how a lot of these states is pretty much just up the ante when it comes to the gun laws. So let's move on and, finish talking about Washington State, what they're doing and stuff to the gun owners in that state. So we went over that. I show you all the traps and stuff that they got set out there. Washington has set so many mouse traps out there for gun owners to lose their Second Amendment rights. I'm talking about, I know some of you probably, take a deep breath. I'm talking about you can breathe now, but I'm talking about, I'm talking about this is crazy. I'm talking about, you see what I'm talking about? These long tail bills and stuff. The average citizen can't keep up with all these bills they're passing. They're passing them in lumps. I'm talking about these bills have been passing in groups, and you expect the average citizen to keep up with this. I'm talking about because, we're talking about bills that, ain't passing or, on the Senate floor, ready to be passed, ready to be voted on. It's so much confusion going on. I'm talking about looking at this to put all this stuff together. I had to stop, go back, check out, see what's going on. Has they passed this? Is not they going to pass it? No, it's on the Senate floor to be passed. I'm talking about, man, who in the world can keep up with this? There's so much news and stuff coming out all over the place. How is your average gun owner going to keep up with all these laws in their state? And we got an election coming up. You got candidates, running around, in these states and whatever, saying all kinds of stuff. This is the stuff I'm talking about. They're trying to confuse the citizen in this country. They're trying to manipulate the system, the airwaves and stuff, and force all this stuff through. And then by the time you figure out, hey, this is on the dock. They already passed this. They already passed that. You behind. I'm talking about you have to catch up. We got to be quick on our feet. You know what I'm saying? You got to be quick on your feet now. So I'm just putting all this stuff out to let you know what's going on and stuff like that. So this is DC Channel Guns, and I'll catch you on the next one.
This is DC Channel Guns. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.